You think you're being paid back for blowing the whistle?
Yes. Yeah, I think it's retaliation, and also it's unfair and unethical.
Port Arthur's fire chief helped us prove the city's ambulance company was cheating taxpayers.
A lot of what they had been providing the city was inaccurate.
Or downright false?
Yes.
His reward?
A shakeup at the city's fire department. Fire Chief Greg Benson confirms to 12 News he is out of the job.
He got fired.
You think this stinks?
Oh, yeah.
So do we.
You think you're getting paid back for exposing Acadian?
Yeah. Yeah.
We first met Chief Greg Benson early this year for an on-camera interview. His candor was refreshing. Without our knowledge, the interview was recorded by a hidden security system. You know who was curious what we talked about that day? The former fire chief, who had supposedly retired.
Can I ask you why you filed an open records request to see the audio and video of my private interview with the chief?
Nah, none of your business.
None of my business? What, are you a spy for Acadian or something?
Chief Benson thought it spoke volumes about the Port Arthur Fire Department he first inherited 3 years ago.
The organization is highly toxic and hostile culture. No operations in Port Arthur Fire, including EMS, they were not meeting national standards. And I brought that up.
Research Benson did showed folks in Port Arthur were calling for ambulances more than other cities the same size. Acadian, they had the lock on ambulance service in Port Arthur for more than a decade, a virtual monopoly throughout the Golden Triangle. And Chief Benson says he was warned the relationships may have been corrupted.
What do you suspect?
Well, Acadian had paid for some trips and stuff like that. I had multiple people tell me that that's what they did. You know, and
paid for trips.
Yes.
That's for the district attorney to find out. But there was clearly friction with Robert Havens, the deputy fire chief, who was passed over when Port Arthur hired Benson. And the chief says that wasn't the only source of friction and leveled a pretty serious charge during our exclusive interview.
You think Havens has been protecting Acadian?
Yes, he has been.
So Chief Benson made enemies when he moved to bring in a second ambulance service. City Ambulance was offering something Acadian never would: dedicated ambulances inside the city. The city was cut in half so both could operate in smaller areas to increase response time. But Acadian, they didn't want to play.
Yeah, they wanted the whole enchilada or they wanted none of it.
Acadian Ambulance may have quit Port Arthur, but before they left, Benson noticed irregularities, repeated times when Acadian had no ambulances available in Port Arthur at all, and response times that simply were unbelievable, seconds in many cases, distorting their required reporting. Further investigation uncovered false response times in the documents to hide horrible response times. You saw the grief.
Yeah, he was just saying, my wife is dying, please hurry up, take her to the hospital.
My wife was sick.
If the ambulance came in here earlier, I think she would have been alive.
I am the epitome of transparency.
Port Arthur's self-proclaimed transparent city manager is Ronald Burton, another old-timer in town. There are officials here who are covering for Acadian.
Oh, no, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Do you think this city manager is carrying water for them?
I have a feeling he might be. And I think at this point, is the actions, the things that he's said and done.
Benson says the city manager all but ignored repeated warnings about Acadian, and the city manager promised us there would be a full investigation of what was going on.
I would leave no stone unturned to make sure that we get to the bottom of it.
That was nearly 3 months ago. Why haven't Acadian officials been called to a grand jury? Why hasn't the city manager even presented a report to city council?
I don't think they want to do an investigation, if you will.
Do you think the district attorney's office in Jefferson County should widen its so-called investigation of Acadian to include an examination of trips or other gratuities it gave to city officials in Port Arthur?
Yeah, I think that would be an appropriate thing.
To hear the mayor tell it, there was tension in the ranks, but it looks like the mayor may end up with a bit of egg on his face. He told local TV stations the fire union had voted no confidence in the chief. Just one problem: the union president says that's not true.
The vote of no confidence, it never occurs.
There should be a full investigation by city council because something doesn't smell right. Just listen to the city manager earlier this month at the Port Arthur Rotary Club.
And Chief, we're just recognizing you as our city employee. We are able to achieve a lot in the city of Port Arthur because we've got great staff, exceptional staff like Greg Benson.
Yes, Mr. Burton just lied to the Rotary folks. You brag about a guy and then fire him? For what? Ambulance response times have improved since Acadian left. And just a few weeks before Benson got fired, there had been a formal complaint made by the City Ambulance Service boss that Deputy Chief Havens was still letting Acadian pick up private patients even though they no longer had a permit to do so.
So here's a formal complaint that was submitted. Nothing was done. And now they made him the interim fire chief.
Benson calls it all the revenge of Acadian.
You expect there's going to be a move to bring Acadian back?
I wouldn't be a bit surprised.